it's orientation's locked. There you go. Oh, that's right. There you go. Alright. Okay, for some reason I can't do it in horizontal. I'm going to have to do it in vertical. I do apologise for that. Let's bring it around over there a little bit because it's the sun is setting behind me and it's kind of messing up with the with the colours, to say the least. But I don't know if you heard, but the Canadians aren't very happy. No, we're talking about Canadians now. Generally, they're happy with everything, apart from Donald Trump and his claim on Canada as the 51st state. Needless to say, they're not too happy about that. Well, would you be? Probably not. No, let's bring this under this light and let's bring it over a bit more. I think that's a bit better. That's a bit better. Got all the sun over there at the moment, and it's literally just bleaching me out a bit. Anyone got to see my beautiful face? No? Okay. Well, Canada's been, how to put it, they're not very happy with the fact that the UK is going to be hosting Donald Trump. Well, they're also going to be hosting Emmanuel Macron. They haven't said anything about that. I wonder why. Maybe they haven't got a problem with Emmanuel Macron. More than likely. Well, you see, Macron's going to be hosted at Balmoral. Donald Trump is going to be in a tent. So I didn't see what they're worried about, really. But, it's debatable whether or not Donald Trump will be speaking in Parliament. If he does, everyone will either fall asleep or they won't be there anyway. I wouldn't be a bit surprised they'd boycott it, quite frankly. I know I would. Well, there, I might just go there for comedic value. Yeah, I think I probably would, actually. Just watch him fall asleep. Give me the opportunity to get some video clips of him drooling again, like he was in Qatar. Well, a lot of people have been complaining about that, haven't they? Been complaining about the fact that Donald Trump went all the way to Qatar at the American taxpayers' expense. But he has managed to get you a nice new jet. I know he's going to be claiming it before he leaves the White House. I know. But there you go. It's a nice golden jet. And he likes gold. That he does, yeah. 400 million jet. But there isn't half of it, really. There's billions that have been agreed, and PGA, golf courses, and crypto, and you name it. He's pretty much managed to get has preferential treatment, and it's just a backdoor, isn't it? Let's be fair. It's a backdoor to the White House to get preferential treatment in the United States. It's kind of a form of lobbying, I suppose. Basically, they've been lobbying Donald Trump and bribing him, and he's happy to accept. He says, "No, it's not my jet," like he posted on his Truth Social, but the fact of the matter, we all know the truth. We all know the truth that it's going to be transferred to his library of assets. But that's Donald Trump for you. He's a crook. He's corrupt. And it's been questioned in committee meetings, well, actually, like in Congress, regarding Donald Trump. Pretty much saying that he's a corrupt politician. I think it's fair to say that he is. But, the Canadians, like I said, they're not too pleased. No. Now I've got to try and find it for you, because I had it here 2 seconds ago. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Oh, it's Mark Carney. There he is. That's little old Mark Carney. This is in the BBC. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has said that Canadians were not impressed by the UK government's invitation to the US President Donald Trump. President Dum Dum. Well, I suppose they wouldn't be really, would they? Now, the newly elected Mark Carney told Sky News that the UK's invitation earlier this year did not help Canadians who were facing repeat comments from Trump about making Canada the 51st US state. Well, let's be fair. The King Charles, he didn't say anything, did he? About Donald Trump and his 51st state. The UK Prime Minister hasn't said anything regarding that, and he's too busy actually, describing the United Kingdom as an island of strangers. Straight out of the old Enoch Powell playbook, that it is. Be Rivers of Blood next, won't it? Well, he says, to be frank, this is Mark Carney. The Canadians weren't impressed by that gesture, given the circumstances, he said. It was at a time when we were being quite clear about the issues around sovereignty. And let's be honest, King Charles isn't just the UK's king, or England's king. I don't offend the Scots. He's Canada's king as well. Commonwealth and all that. I bet that grates on some of you, don't it? On Canadians. And I don't see why it shouldn't. Now, Mark Carney has actually asked the King to come to Canada and open Parliament, just like he does in Westminster. Will he have rotten tomatoes thrown at him? Maybe. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be some protests about it. But there'll be some people who will be, be happy about that, No. So, he says here that it is also a reaffirming moment, and it will be reaffirming, Carney said, saying that issues around Canada's sovereignty have been accentuated by the president. Yes, the Canadians have said, this is our country, and we're proud of it, Sovereign. It's not the United States, is it? No. And never will be. But this threat of attack is just like the threat of attack on Greenland and Gaza. It's not exactly conducive to being able to negotiate absolutely anything, is it? Now, Mark Carney went over to I was about to say Westminster too, but the White House, and looked, what the fuck? Why am I here? It looked quite uncomfortable. What am I doing here? Oh my giddy! I've got to listen to him speak, just like those poor people in Qatar having to listen to Donald Trump yesterday. Oh my God! Did he fall asleep? Was he drooling? What the heck was he talking about? Was he talking in backwards sentences? There was something strange going on there. Maybe he was just excited that he was going to get his $400 million golden Boeing. It's the same type of Boeing that they've already got as the Air Force One. But it does make me wonder how anyone can justify this level of corruption. Blatant corruption. They're not even trying to hide it now. Not at all. Absolutely out in the open. I just find it just flabbergasting. It's not just obviously Donald Trump, it's his sons as well. Like Eric Trump does a lot of crypto and that, and they've also benefited considerably because of this agreement with Qatar, Saudi. With a man who, quite frankly, the Saudi prince, who thinks it's okay to chop up journalists who visit the embassy and dispose of them in a suitcase, in bits. It's just astounding, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's astounding. Now, so yes, the king has asked for, as the head of state for not the king. Mark Carney has asked the head of state, the king, to open Parliament, and I suppose it is going to be a reaffirming moment, and also, it kind of just it lays things down in stone again, doesn't it? But not all Canadians are going to like this. They're not all happy about it. I'm sure of it. The Supreme Court that said, when are people going to learn that people are people, and we are all different, but we all bleed red, That we do. But that's true, It's I just can't. Life I just can't understand why we just can't all get on. To be honest, I know there's going to be extremes of views and stuff, but sometimes we just have to agree to disagree and just walk away. Make Britain drink tea again. I like coffee. All right. I don't drink tea. I used to drink a lot of tea in England. But since I moved to France, I don't drink any tea. It's all coffee, 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 coffee. To the point of it, I've got a nice coffee machine and stuff like that, I just can't stand rubbish coffee now. Just instant type coffee. No. I've got a little, with a little port filter and stuff like that, It makes a massive difference. You've got to get your creamer going, you've got to get your creamer. Maple Maga. Oh my God, you got your Maple Maga as well. Yeah, why is it? Aren't they traitors, really? Maple Maga, aren't they? Aren't they? They're traitors, really, to Canada. How can you have Maple Maga? It's like make America great again by destroying Canada. Because that's what, it would do, wouldn't it? All of a sudden Canada would no longer exist. It'd be the 51st state of the United States. The UK is Magastan's Magastan, like that. Magastan's mini-me. We have the equivalent of chimpanzees. I haven't heard that one before. That's actually really good. Chimpanzees, you have to remember that. Oh, that's good. I like that. Chimpanzees. Chimpanzees. Get it in my head. Yeah, that's good. Unfortunately, we do. We in the UK. I live in France, right, and we've got problems here. Right, it's not all roses, and you've got people here who are, in the name of so-called sovereignty, who are hell-bent on purity of France, and that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed, and I also won't remember a lot of these, like France, Italy, Germany, Spain. The whole of Europe. We are a mixed breed here in Europe. We really are. This is Roman occupation. It's also before that the Persians, and it's not really. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. There's very few pure breed people. Now in the UK, you can get your DNA tested, right? You send a bit of hair off, whatever you do, and they will see whether you got a bit of this in you, a bit of that in you, and what have you. I know I've got Indian in me, from my mother's side, and it's illegal here in France. You're not allowed. This particular service is not allowed to be used here in France. You can't send off your DNA to see what your origins are. But you can in the UK. You can do that in the UK. What's up, Sebastian? What's wrong with you? I got my treats. That I have. All right, got a treat pot here, boy. There you go. He's one of years, aren't you? It's birthday today. Yeah, he's 14 today. It's Sebastian, aren't you, my boy? 14. Eh? There he is. Anyway. So anyway, you can't do that here. And also, you're not allowed... the authorities here are not allowed to document via race and creed and what have you. As in, like, demographics. Because, it's what they say, I suppose, it breeds racism in it, and causes more problems. It does more harm. More harm than good. Because, you're going to get, obviously, problems. Well, you can get problems, to be fair. But you get concentrations of different people in different places, don't you, And not everyone appreciates it, even though they never see it, And, like, for instance, where I'm from, in Norfolk, I've mentioned this before, our Norfolk farmers, and North Norfolk especially, and actually, to be fair, West Norfolk, that as well, they're some of the worst. I mean, really basic. Don't whatever it is. It's like NIMBYism, but instead of wind turbines and solar panels or housing, it's immigration, brown faces. I find it a little bit sad, really, because I don't give a shit about that sort of stuff. I really don't. I don't judge people on that basis at all. I don't judge them, if they're an arsehole, they're an arsehole, so I'll tell them so. But, if do you know what gets me is, when I visited the UK last time, right, not all the people, a lot of the people who were helping at the soup kitchens for the homeless at night, in the evenings, the ones I was talking to and what have you, right, they're either Muslim, they were Sikhs, obviously British citizens as well, and it was just everybody trying to help everybody. What the hell? Like I said before, we all bleed red, Why should it be all about race and creed? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't matter at all, should it? It's stupid, in fact. You don't get anywhere. You don't find solutions to problems that we're all suffering with at the moment. Like in the UK, today was a topic of conversation. Oh, prison spaces. We don't have enough prison spaces. Well, they're talking about, do we need to release non-dangerous criminals? And do we need to do this? Sorry. You need to solve the root. There's no mention of solving the root problem. Why are we putting so many people in prison? Either because they're offenders for one reason or another, or we're locking up people that really shouldn't be locked up anyway. But why have we got more people who need locking up? Why have we got more violent crime? Oh, that's a societal issue. If we solve it at the root cause, more social policing, or not social policing, also just place that you see and what have you, on the streets and what have you, and I'm not talking about ICE, but just ordinary, village bobby that we used to have, and for us it was we had when I was growing up. Oh crikey, what was his name again? PC Plod Jenkins, PC Jenkins, and he was our local bobby with his bike, all right, and the kids were wary of him. I mean, we all were wary of him because we knew if we did anything wrong, he'd grab scrub your hair, not aggressive or anything, but anyway, he'd take you to your parents and he'd speak to your parents, and that's what we all feared. Our parents finding out that we'd been little shits, And I know it sounds a bit old-fashioned and stuff like that, but isn't that what we really need? No, we need a little bit more discipline, And I think discipline comes with fairness. It's not about constantly telling your kids off. We need it's sort of give and take, With my kids, growing up, got 6 kids, all growing up now, mind, and we used to do crazy things together, With, in the winter, I had my tractor, and I'd tow the sledge, them on it, around the field with the tractor. And they loved it, and that sort of stuff. We got kite flying. I used to fly model aeroplanes as well, so we'd go and fly model aeroplanes and radio control cars, and just do silly shit, and mess about on the river and, the Norfolk Broads. So, you sort of gain their respect that way, don't you? They get to love you. You do things with them, Like fathers going to watch it, take the kids play football, and mothers as well, obviously. It's just got to be sexist about that, because it's a bit stupid. But But you gain that respect. And it starts with at home, I think. But, my daughter, she lives in an area that isn't that great, right, in Norwich. It is a little bit rough. But she's a brilliant little mum. I give her do. She's a brilliant little mum. All the kids are way ahead with their reading. They've got all into free reading now, and where all the other kids are sort of really struggling. Because she put effort in. And that's probably because we put effort with them when they were growing up. We always had books in the house. We always read to them, and tried to learn new things, and go places to explore, and maybe go to castles, or and churches that you can go up the spires and stuff like that. There's one in Ranworth, not far from where we used to live. And it was, the kids loved all that stuff, even though they really struggled to get up the bloody stairs. The little spiral stairs, and the last bit was like a ladder, and it's like crikey scary, because it's just like an iron bars, and the kids go up it. Oh, you can do it. You can do it. Pushing them up. But you sort of gain that respect, and that sort of mutual respect between you and your children. And I think it's paid off for us. It's paid off. But that's just what we did, because that's sort of what my father did with us. My mother and me, they did their best. At times when parents weren't quite so hands-on, you know what I mean? My parents weren't that hands-on, but they weren't that bad. But if things seem to have changed, and do you know what I blame? It's too easy to shut your kids up with one of these. I know it stands a little bit easy, a bit easy arguing. It's because of these things, and they just lose themselves in them, don't they, for too long. You need a level of control there, but it's just one problem amongst many, isn't it? These days, and it's difficult, and parents are squeezed. So this is where another thing that's different. I'm not diversified from Canada at the moment, but I'll get back to it. But the other thing is that kind of really bugs me is how our time is just so consumed now, and that we don't get time. We don't have time for anything anymore. We don't have time for our children. Now, when I was growing up, I mentioned this before, my mum, she had a little job, what have you, but she weren't working full-time, my dad worked full-time, and I'm not saying that we should just, there should be that kind of sexist kind of thing going on, but we could spread the load a little bit. But now it seems like parents seem to have like 3 jobs because they can't manage. Everything's just so expensive now. And that's about having enough time. And if you haven't got enough time for your kids, you haven't got enough time for you haven't got enough time for clubs for the kids, and the kids do go to a lot of clubs these days, I must admit. It's just, everything seems to be too extreme, and it's just, I think it's destroying people. I really do. I think it's destroying people. I think it's the root cause of a lot of our problems is time. Because without that time, you get stress. We all feel that we've got to fit everything in to a certain, space, a certain length of time that we have, from getting up in the mornings to feeding the kids, taking them to school, going to work, and then you've got to juggle it with maybe, I don't know, maybe half or nearly all your money ends up with childcare. And it's just sort of like rinse and repeat every single time. It becomes a chore. Where's the fun in all of it, When do we get time for us to actually just enjoy ourselves? I've got a dog hair on me. You get everywhere, you do, boy. He's sitting in there, he is. Look at him. Come on, bug. A little birthday boy. He had cake today. He did have a birthday cake, didn't he? With a candle. He had a candle. He didn't have 14 candles, though, did you? Burn your whiskers. He didn't want to be like, I don't know. Yeah, I think my grandchild had to, when my grandkids had to do that. Yeah, but anyway, yes, that's my feeling. I feel that we're kind of like, we haven't got enough time for people. And if you've got time for your kids, you've got time for your other extended family members, your mother, elderly mother maybe, father, whatever. And everything becomes a stress, a worry, and it just gets too much. It gets too much, and people can't cope. Whereas we used to be able to. And lives are so busy now. And we We do expect to have more, I'm not going to deny that, and subscriptions, this, that and the other, but, I think that's a small part of the problem. I think the biggest part of the problem is just time. And not being able to survive on one person's, on 40, 50 hours a week income. We need to see 80 to 100 hours income a week just to be able to survive, to pay the bills, pay the mortgage, pay the rent, pay the whatever, Everything's just getting so bloody expensive. It's not cheap right here, in France, cost of living's quite high for some people. Not for us, because we grow a lot of our own food. But we can, because we've got a bit of land, land is cheap here. But, it's... Not everyone has that opportunity, do they? We were fortunate. We managed to buy our house in the UK. And we sold it back in 2009. And we bought this place. It was a wreck. I had to put the work in. A lot of work. I mean, we had the cows in our kitchen. I couldn't believe I opened the door. I arrived there with my Darren, one of my sons. And we opened the door and there was a vache, a cow, in our kitchen, our cuisine. So we had to usher that out and shut the door. And then there was the cows brushing at the back here and that, there's still cows on this field, you see. So that was a bit of an issue. But anyway, going back to Canada, needless to say, they aren't so happy with that. It doesn't look good. And I understand why Keir Starmer did it at the time, I suppose. And he was cheered for doing it because it was kind of a diplomatic win. It didn't even work in the end anyway, did it? Because Donald Trump just, regarding Ukraine, just shouted on them, basically. Big time. He had the meeting with Emmanuel Macron. That was interesting. Oh, no, Donny, no, that's not quite as... No, that's not what's actually happening there, Donald. Just, and Keir Starmer attempted to do the same, not quite so effectively. But I've got to give Emmanuel Macron his dues. He wasn't having any of it. He really wasn't having any of it. Anyway, I'll scroll down soon. Hello, Joe, how are you? I started watching your video today. I watched it all, yeah. Yeah. Canada is home. Okay. Happy birthday, pup. 14-year-old he is. You don't look 14, though. You don't look 14. But needless to say, obviously, the Canadian people aren't too happy about it. But, there are so many other problems in the world as well, isn't it? Obviously, the threat of... that ain't going to happen, is it? Let's be honest. That's never going to happen. Donald Trump is never going to make Canada the 51st state. The Canadian people aren't going to have any of it. It's just Donald Trump being an absolute idiot. An absolute fucking idiot. He really is. And Canada was never going to put up with that. It's not going to happen. It takes two to tango. Even Donald Trump said that. So now he's moving on to Greenland and spying on the people in Greenland as well while he's at it. And I just find it absolutely incredible what he's actually getting away with. Because he's just got control of everything, hasn't he? And this is what the American people voted for. Not everybody, I know. But, even those, though, to be fair, who voted for Donald Trump and see what's going on and said, hang on, that's not what we voted for. They had this idea in their heads that, he was good for the economy. They've got a very short memory. He crippled the economy. It's Donald Trump, though, with this MAGA lot, or these, oh, crikey, what was I getting again? Oh, no, Trump or something or other. I forgot already. My giddy aunt. Trump. Oh, crikey. Anyway, I'll check in a minute. And they've got a very short memory, and it's believe everything that he says. And it's like, hang on, that wasn't even true. He didn't say that. Well, he did say that, but it was debunked more than once. And meanwhile, Donald Trump went to, sent, went to Switzerland, didn't he? Scott Bessant and another geezer. And what is it with Scott Bessant? He's like that, constantly like that. Has he been shrink wrapped or something? Or has he got a spine splint? Or I don't know what's going on there, but it's like the whole body's been Botoxed. Or something like that. He's on the verge of rigor mortis. Anyway, Scott Bessel went to Switzerland and to negotiate these tariffs with China. China pretty much got what they agreed to, and the UK was the United States has still got tariffs. We're in 30-odd%. But I don't think that's the worst part of it with China. I think the worst part of it is the small item stuff that's under. For ordinary people, it's under 800 euros. The de minimis used to be tariff free. You see, all that stuff has still got tariffs on it. De minimis is around 70% tariffs on that stuff, 60-70%, I think, or something like that. Oh, for God's sake! Is that a win? Yeah, Donald Trump's portraying it as a win. How's that a fucking win? That's not a win. You still got tariff. You're still, the American taxpayer and buyer is supplementing the tax that they have to pay in the form of tariffs. So to say what it is, it's just a tax, import tax. But yet still, I see interviews of various YouTubers and stuff talk to people on the streets and say, no, China pays the tariffs, China pays... Christ, where have you been? On what planet have you got to be from to think that China or any of these other countries were ever going to be paying the tariffs? They might suck up some of the cost. They won't have a viable business if they did that. Obviously, they're going to pass those costs on to the customer. And that's obviously the American taxpayer paying more taxes in the form of a tariff. It's madness. It's absolute madness. But, they still suck up. They're still happy to just go along with it. I just find it just flabbergasting. Now, there are some people who are standing up against it now, since there's been US version of by-elections, and they've been voting against the GOP, against the Republicans. Well, there's been a hell of a lot of skirmishes in these meetings. Where their local representatives, their governors, and what have you, go to these meetings and then they get absolutely slated. Republicans, that is. Which is good to see. It does give me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside, that it does. The purple shirt looks great. It's just a t-shirt. It's what I've been wearing all day in the workshop, getting covered in dust. I just shook it off. I had no to shake it off. I actually put myself down with the airline. That's what I did. So I've made no effort at all. I thought, well, the sun's going down, and as you can see over there, it's virtually down. It is. There you go. See my solar panels. There's 16 solar panels there, 380 watts each. There you go. Actually, some of them panels are American. And they are good quality panels. I'll give them their dues. They're Sun Edison panels, these black ones there. They're really good panels. Really well made. So, Americans do make some good shit. Oh, dear. So, alright, the other thing is, it's just, don't try to... American jobs for Americans. But why aren't Americans, filling the manufacturing jobs that you already had? Now, we had, some of, issues in the UK, and some of it's going to be because of the fact that jobs are shit, or low paying, or, just really bad, shitty jobs. Now, when I was in business, I suppose I'm still in business now, but when I had my UK businesses, and if, for instance, we put our prices up, usually every year at the very least, sometimes twice a year, for if materials become more expensive, or anyway, or if the market demanded them. If we put our prices up, there's two things that happen. If we put our prices up and it increases profits, well then wages should go up with it, shouldn't it? At least once a year. If they don't, profits do. You want both to go up. You want your profits to go up, and you want obviously your wages to go up. It's, employees. I was going to be watching, look what's going on. Shit, you've been. They know how much you're charging. The day. Quite often they're the ones collecting the money when the job's finished. But if you're going to just constantly be putting up the prices of shit and not passing some of that on to your employees, you're going to have a problem. And you're going to find it harder and harder to get employees. And, because people come and go, don't they? Or they get scooped up by ice. Christian Holmes has been, oh, crikey. What is it with these people? They dance around on the head of a pin to try and not answer the question. They do their best not to answer the question, all non-answers. Whenever they've been questioned about stuff, it was Cash Patel the other day, cosplay Christy, Gnomes, from Ice. And it's just the same shit every time. And the same with that press secretary. Oh my God. I've got to give her a do. She is she's the worst, but probably she's very good at what she does. For all the wrong reasons. So yeah, anyway, so President Trump has been upending the global economy in the name of bringing manufacturing back to the United States. Well, there ain't been no manufacturing being brought back to the United States at this stage. In fact, some manufacturers, like for Nissan, are going to be, they're sacking shitloads of people. They are shutting down factories and getting rid of jobs. And it's not just because of Donald Trump and his tariffs. Some of it's going to be down to BYD. They've taken a huge chunk of the car market, especially obviously electric cars, obviously. And that's companies like Nissan, who some of the early electric cars, like the Nissan Leaf, those they've struggled anyway. So they haven't been able to move along. What are you making all these noises for? Do you want another treat? Is that what it is? You are a birthday boy, after all. You have to back it. We want to see you. Sort of. Now your teeth. He's got bad teeth on the front. I have to keep an eye on them. I have to clean his teeth. I go in there and literally scrape his teeth. It's not a nice job, I tell you. But didn't realise how bad dogs' teeth get. Just clean with a toothbrush isn't good. They need bones, don't you? Crunch on bones, clean your teeth, but also I've got these little metal things, I like little guitar picks. I get in there, like this thick, it's a horrible job. Ugh. Smelly breath, that's what you got. When I don't, you know what you need to do it, because the breath is smelly. So yeah, anyway, last year, the Manufacturing Institute, which is a non-profit aimed at developing America's manufacturing workforce, and Deloitte, a consulting firm, surveyed more than 200 manufacturing companies. More than 65% of the firms said recruiting and retaining workers was their number one business challenge. Now, part of the story has been a tight labour market, and there has been similar work recruitment and retention issues. Well, the biggest retention issue is always wages, or there's something better. Or maybe it's not worth working, And in other sectors like construction and transportation, let's be honest, also, some of the people who be working in these places, what might be Latinos, and they're worried, they're concerned that they're going to get scooped up, so they're in hiding. A lot of them are literally just disappearing. And both major political parties pushing to reshore manufacturing, and analysts expect the industry's workforce issues to get even more challenging. Now, I know what they want. If I was one of these companies who were going to reshore, we're going to come back to the United States, I'd be looking at doing what many of these other, like Chinese manufacturing companies, are starting to do. They're dabbling in. It's early days as yet, obviously. I'd be looking into robots. I really would. Not because they're cool, but because, you haven't got to pay them sick pay, you haven't got to pay them, well, I don't know about the United States, but you haven't got to pay them over yet, have you? Or wages. Once you got them, you just got to maintain them. And I'm sure there'll be other fees, there'll be subscription fees and software fees and lots of other stuff that have to be there, programming and what have you. But still, it'll be cheaper than a human workforce. Now, how will governments deal with that? Will they end up increasing the taxes on these companies? On these tech companies utilising autonomous robots? Or will they end up paying, UBI, Universal Basic Income, because people are going to have to survive on something. Well, like I've mentioned before, it doesn't make us as people superfluous, where we're no longer required. That is concerning. Because at the moment they're saying we need to be, we need to get jiggy with it and be making more people. We're not making them anymore. On the other hand, I think to myself, well, once I realise that a robot, or autonomous robot, humanoid, could do the job as well, if not better, especially on the production line, I think they're going to go for that, aren't they? But where does it leave people? And besides, think about that, right? They say, the population, they've got a negative birth rate. Say, for instance, in the UK and in the United States, a negative birth rate. So, obviously that's one of the reasons why we need more people, and why we import people, and why we end up having immigration. Because we need these people, a net benefit, let's be honest. But if we've got the situation, coming back to my earlier point about not having time, if you like, for instance, both of you at work, and you think to yourself, well, if we're going to have a child, well, then you're going to have to give up work. Or you're going to have to get, especially in the United States, you don't get the support that you get in the UK, for instance. But even that doesn't help. People don't want to give up their job because they're frightened that they're not going to be able to get it back again. Maybe they've got a good job, they've got a good career, they're career-minded people, maybe. Why are they going to have a child? Now, we've got 6 kids, all right, me and my missus. She had 4 previous marriage and we've got 2 between us. And, okay, that's us. But our eldest son, he's got 1 child. He ain't having any more. My youngest son has got 1 child. He isn't having any more. Okay, my daughter's got 4. My other daughter's got 3. But, the idea of having lots of children these days, it's like my mother was one of 8, That's not... it's unheard of these days, in Western society. People don't do it anymore because it's not really feasible. It's not feasible. We've stretched ourselves, and the idea is that the idea before, we were able to have the time to have a family and look after that family. Now, quite often in this case, I've had an accident. What do we do? We'll keep it then, In the United States, you can't do a lot about it now, can you? Wade versus Roe and all that. So that's but still, it's just people doing what they can to and not conceive in the first place. And I just can't see it. I just can't see it turning around. I just can't. So do we need to be making more people if they could be replaced anyway by machines? That's what it feels like to me. And these are my thoughts, that's all it is. I'm just sort of winging it at the moment. Just winging it. But I don't know, does it worry me? I think there's so much going on at the here and now. What's stuff that worries me about the food, like for instance the environment and stuff like that, which does worry me, it does concern me. We live fairly off grid here, but I worry less about it than I did used to because of what's going on at the moment. Not just in the United States, in the United Kingdom as well, and the rhetoric that's coming out of the Labour Party in the UK. It weighs heavy on people's minds, if you have got any sense of morality, and I don't know, it's just so much crap going on in there, You look what's going on in Gaza, Israel's blocking aid into Gaza. Okay, the argument is it's ending up in the hands of Hamas, and they steal it, then sell it at exorbitant prices, and I don't know. I don't know what are the solutions there. I haven't got a clue. Oh, my dear wife, she's trying to find me. She's gone into the workshop because my lights have just come on in the workshop, and she's probably gone back. She's probably gone through into my little lab, my back room, trying to look for me. And will she find me? Will she realise I'm in the garden with Sebastian, my dog? Talking to you. Kids here learn the basics of economy around... Hello? How you feeling? You still got a headache? Yeah. She's in a dressing gown. There's mosquitoes about anyway, darling. You want to come over here? See if you're alright. You had a headache. I'll disturb you. I'll be in a minute, darling. Alright. She's got a headache, yeah. No, she's not pregnant. Those days are gone. So kids around here learn the basics of economy. That's a good point. We don't teach that in schools. We don't teach politics in schools. Not in the UK anyway. And when we do teach about history, we're so ashamed of our own history. Like, for instance, A-level, mate. We talk about American history, colonialism and all that, Hey, hello, Mike James. Hello, boy. Hope you're well. And Trish Shana, hello there. I'm American and a Republican. We call it equalisation. Equalisation? Equalisation of what, though? Hope you're the old school Republican and not that new batch. Because they're weird, they are. They fall asleep and drool. And then called Joe Biden Sleepy Joe. What are we going to call Trump? A Sleepy Trump? Actually, to be fair, he was sending them all to sleep, except Elon Musk, who was clapping like a seal. Oh, Quantum Leap continues his hair. Oh, hello there, Quantum Leap continues. They couldn't pay me to vote Republican. No, I don't blame you either. Not if you've got a modicum of decency in you. Well, equalisation, in its simplest form, is the process of making things equal or uniform. So socialism. How does that work with being a Republican? It doesn't, does it? Because no, Republicans are generally conservatives. Low wages for visa workers and immigrants. Well, that don't help, does it? We need, that's where we need equalisation. I tell you, we need to get rid of the rich bastards. The extremely rich. I'm not talking about people who just got a few million or that. I'm talking these billionaires sucking the wealth out of society and not putting it back in again. I don't see how anyone's benefited from Jeff Bezos sending some rich bitch up in the sky, say, hey, look at me, look what I've done. No one benefited from that. Maybe a few boffins did. Obviously, Jeff Bezos did because it was a big ticket. It's just disgusting. Hello, Shan. Oh, well. Oi, bro. Oh, can I come down a bit? I'm too far up. Got a frosted Canadian here. They're frosted Canadian, hope you will. They need to be properly taxed and regulated. They do. The extreme wealthy out there needs to... we have competition laws, don't we? Where industries are not allowed to have too much competition in one area. And like, for instance, Google recently has basically been told they need to split up. Right? They need to break it up, Google, because it's got too big. Good, and hopefully then you'd also split up the share values and stuff like that as well, and hello, Adora. I'm a Pandora here now. Yeah, there we do. Definitely needs to be regulated. Oh, create control, too much control. Especially if you want another one, you have to come here, mate. I know it's your birthday. What's this about 2% bloody tax these people pay? And sometimes not even that. It's ludicrous. And the corporation taxes and stuff, they're tiny for these people. They negotiate them and they just go, we want tiny taxes if you're going to encourage us to come to your country. And then, a little of a lot is better than, a lot of nothing, I suppose, in that respect. But we need to stop these people from being able to do that. There needs to be some kind of international resolve on that, where industries... Well, at the end of the day, if you want to trade in a country, well, then the taxes need to be applied then, don't they? If you've got stuff being imported, well, then you could have a tariff. If they're not paying their taxes through corporation taxes, they should do, or even income taxes or on the dividends. What gets me is, it really bugs me. I have mentioned this before in early older videos. Is about this in the UK. We've got this thing called asset holding companies, right? It's just like you can start up a company like you would do at a company's house, and you give it, you declare it as a asset holding company, and the whole point of an asset holding company is to hold assets, and it could be a plot of land, it could be a business, a building, it could be anything, an asset, just any asset. That asset can grow in value, and that's kind of what you expect it to do. It's a piece of land, generally it's going to grow a little bit in value. If it, let's say if you've got to get planning permission on it, there's costs involved and stuff like that get knocked off, and whatever's left is, there's profit in it. Well, if I opened up this asset holding company, I would be paying taxes on it, because that would be, as a British citizen, I'm in France, but if I was in the UK, I would have to pay taxes on it. But if I am a foreign citizen, a foreigner, right? No disrespect to foreigners, but if I was a foreigner and I opened up an asset holding company in the UK and I got some profit off it, I can take that profit and pay no tax. This is because of Boris Johnson, this was. It's quite an old thing, but David Cameron got rid of it because he said, well, this isn't really just, is it? This isn't the right thing to do. So he got rid of it, all right? Boris Johnson, 2019, he came into office and he brought it back again, and no one talks about this stuff. I'm probably the only person. To me, it's just wrong. It's just another way of sucking value out of a country. You're removing the value of that asset out of the country. That money no longer circulates. Those profits don't do any good to anybody, apart from somebody in the Cayman Islands, their bank account in the Cayman Islands. It's just corruption. It's just another form of corruption. And the other thing about this, right? If you support a party, like for instance, so if you've got a company registered in the United Kingdom, you can then vote for and donate and vote for a political party, the leader of a political party, because you can be a member of that political party and vote for that leader. It just feels wrong. It just does feel wrong. You're not a British citizen, you could be in Abu Dhabi or somewhere, you know what I mean? Just corrupt. There we go. The Royals really appreciate Canada. I'm sure they do. The thing about Canada is there's nothing offensive about it. What have they ever done that's offensive? You know? They don't go around poking holes at people. They don't, interfere in other people's business. It's Canada. You know? Yeah, Donald Trump's in fact, we're going to have Canada as its 51st state. It is. It's a Mickey taking it. Hello, very cool. Hope you're well. How's Finland? My home, I believe, KC3, King Charles III, will deliver the throne speech prepared by the government. Quite possibly. It'd be quite a spectacular thing. I think really actually be quite nice for the Canadian people, you know, because obviously there's still a lot of Canadian people who believe in all that. For me, as far as I'm concerned, the King's a waste of bloody time. If you ask me, it's not really paying shitloads of money out for very little. I know they say, he brings money in and stuff like that. Do you honestly got to tell me that Prince William, with his bald head, is going to bring it down? The Queen, maybe. Yeah, I could argue that one, but Prince William is an angry little man. He's not very nice, and nor is Charles. Charles has done quite a bit of good, I have to admit, over the years. He has done some positive stuff. But I do find it quite funny when Donald Trump is receiving this $400 million golden jet. Oh, that gold! Here's the golden jet. Just go along with his golden showers. Oh, I wonder if there's a golden shower on board. I know, a mural of Vladimir Putin, maybe. Well, on a bear. Well, I don't know if you remember this, but a few years back at I think it was at the COP one of the COP meetings. The King was there, and he wasn't going to be there, but anyway, he was there. I think it was under Boris Johnson. This was, or was it Richie Sunak? I can't remember. Anyway, they turned up. I don't know. The Arabs turned up. The Saudis turned up with a pot of money, like a oh, here's a couple of million quid for your charity. I said, what? It looks so corrupt. It really did. It's just, it's like, open up my briefcase. Oh, there it is. There's all this money. Oh, give me your drugs. Oh, dear. Watching Starmer acting so Seville when he met Trump was grotesque. It was. Seville, yes, it was grotesque. Seeing Mark Hardy saying this, oh my God. I actually felt so sorry for him. Especially when Donald Trump started his little spiel, his little mantra. It was non-stop for about an hour. Oh, no, 30 odd minutes, wasn't it? 30 odd minutes of Donald Trump just constant, a bit like me at the moment. And it's just like, oh my Gideon. Oh, don't forget to boop the old like button. Boop, boop. And if you watch Sports Channel, there's obviously the super chats and that as well. But watching that though, I really felt sorry for him. I really did. I can just imagine what was going through his head. And when he was interviewed afterwards, and he said, "You don't know what was going through my head," because he was asked that question. He said, I said, "I can imagine." The reporter asked, she said, "I can imagine what was going on through your head." It's so ridiculous. Donald Trump is ridiculous. He's just ridiculous. And the only people who are benefiting, who are earning out of this, is Donald Trump and his family. All this crypto luck that's going on, through the back door, mate, and through Saudi and that as well. We're talking about billions and billions. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. And now Donald Trump keeps manipulating the market with these tariffs. Fuck everything up, and then say, "Oh, it's gonna be alright tomorrow." Everyone's quid's in. Know when to invest. And now we've got, MTG, Margie Taylor Greene. She's been investigated now because of insider trading. I hope the King does Queen Elizabeth proud. That woman had pride. She did have brass, and she was so disrespected by Trump. One thing, Trump was late, wasn't he? Right? And then when they were, I can't remember where they were there, but they were walking, should have been together. Donald Trump just walked up and ahead, right in front of her, and they were trying to get past him. It's just like, and he's just like, what the fuck's going on there? He's oblivious. He don't give a damn about anybody but himself. Well, I know it's obvious, isn't it? But yeah. I hope the King shows support. He will show support. I've got no doubt there. Can you see that little light moving over me? Do you know what that is? It's a little spider just there. Can you see it? Just there. That's cool. It's gone. King sausage fingers, that he is. And my little Sebastian, he's down there. Oh, both of me at the moment. I'm out in the dark. It don't look like dark, but it is. It's actually dark-ish. It's quite good, this phone, isn't it? It's just, I bet it's a bit grainy. I'm a bit of both, but I'm the same with fellow Canadians on any day. Where are we? They need to be properly taxed and regulated. Oh, we've done that already. Very, very true. Come down here. Hello, Steve McGowan. I hope you're well, my friend. How's it in Prague? I had hoped for Starmer. I had as well. I've said it to you before, haven't I? I had high hopes for him. He's really let us down. Really, really let us down big time. I'm so disappointed. And when making those, he tried so hard to win the Red Wall, didn't he? Got the vote and literally just destroyed it. He's thrown it away. And now these people have gone to Reform Party, and he seems to think he'll be able to win them back by using these tropes like, an island of strangers. No. It's not going to work like that. It just isn't. They've lost. He's lost those people now. All he can do is actually try and double down with his own base and, do the right thing, I suppose, instead of flip-flopping all over the bloody place and just trying to suck up to people that really don't. Because Keir Starmer doesn't believe in half of the stuff that he's talking about. He don't believe in it. That's not who he is. If you look at his history, this isn't who he is. He's just doing it because he feels that he has to. It's ridiculous. It's weak. And when people say he's weak, they're right, but it is weak. It's weakness. The party doesn't have any grounding. And I was listening to Jeremy Corbyn today. He was being asked by Andrew Barr about the party and that, and his words to the effect that it isn't the same party. It's just, he doesn't recognise it. I don't recognise it, And I'm not a natural Labour voter. I'm more of a greenie, me. But sometimes you just have to go with the flow because of what you believe in doesn't stand a bloody chance where you're from. And it didn't. And like a lot of people, we gifted our vote to Labour just so we didn't get Tories again. Hello, Gene. Gene the lefty. Hope you're well. I was surprised that Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't show up for the parade in Russia. Yeah. Apparently Donald Trump was invited. The one from Slovakia, president from Slovakia, he went. But Donald Trump was invited, but Zelensky put a message out there saying, I can't guarantee your safety. Oh, well, that was funny. Vance complained, J.D. Vance, US Vice President Dammer, about the UK being Islam. Oh my God, he did, didn't he? Yet, what did Trump do yesterday on his knees for the Saudi king? Yes, he did. Flipping out, didn't he suck up to him? Oh, that was embarrassing. Things he'll do for money. We got the Tories, says Kirsty. Just the red ones. I don't think that's who the party is. I don't. I think they're just doing it just to try and win these people back, and it ain't gonna work. You're not going to win these people back now. Unless the Reform Party implodes, which is kind of getting there with what's gone on in Yarmouth with, oh God, what was his name again? Oh, he's a horrible man, he is. Oh, crikey. The MP in Great Yarmouth, I know the area and I know him. I come across him a few times and he's horrible. Horrible man. Anyway, he's threatening to start another party, which could split the party, which should be a good thing. You know, it just weakens them, doesn't it? You know, we're seeing that with, obviously, Reform Party and the Conservatives. I often wondered if the NDP party will ever make a comeback in Canada. Don't know. I don't know. I don't know a huge amount about Canadian politics. I took a bit of interest in it recently because of Mark Carney, really, because, you know, I had warm feelings for Mark Carney because he just did a brilliant job for us, you know, as the Bank of England governor. And I've seen him in those interviews. And he's funny as well. He's quite a comical geezer, you know, and he's something I can relate to. And I think a lot of people can, you know. He's no fool. He knows what he's doing, and he's funny. Now we had somebody in the UK government. His name was Boris Johnson, Boris de Veffel Johnson. Crikey. Anyway, he can be quite funny, but he was a disaster, an absolute disaster. Whereas Mark Carney is quite a formulaic man, actually. He knows what he's doing, to be fair, and I hope he does the best for the Canadian people. And I think he'll do his best. I think that's all you can ask him, because at the end of the day, if the situation is shit more than what he can actually deal with, or anyone could deal with, well, then all he can do is soften the blow, isn't it? You know, the world economics aren't looking good, are they? Surfer, who's a surfer? Cheers, Joe, for sorting that out, mate. Oh my God, I've got some crap here. The only person with a normal look, minus the cross fetish, is the blonde Caroline something, but only on mute. Caroline Levitt. Please put her on mute. Oh my giddy aunt, she's awful, isn't she? It's got some gall, that one has. Oh, yeah, what about Elon Musk was in Saudi? He was in Saudi with Donald Trump. Yeah. Whenever Donald Trump was speaking, is there this? A little fingertip. So she's like really weird little clap. Look, shut the speed's gone really crazy now because it's really dark now. I can't believe it's actually showing that much up in this darkness. Crikey, that's quite amazing. I think the phone, the only thing that's lighting me up is actually the phone. But you can still see some white in the sky. Not white, I mean blue. Not black. Saudis need to move their oil because they are running out of storage space. You can't switch off oil wells. Nope. And if you do, then opening it will be very, very expensive, a bit like the old furnaces for the steel, foundries. But you got what's the other thing? You got OPEC, and then obviously you got the American oil companies. Russia was flooding the market at one point, bringing the price of the oil down. But that's kind of stabilised now, and it looks like the price of oil is going to go up again, unfortunately. Yeah, so they need to get it somewhere. So, we'll go to the United States. Oh, yeah, probably. If J.D. Vance has a fetish with his couches, leather or latex? Well, the leather lets it breathe, doesn't it, The latex lets it sweat. Makes it more slippery. Depends what you're really into. I suppose something slippery. Oh, it confirmed my suspicion. Sebastian decided to pee on one of my poppies. Thank you, Sebastian. for Daffy Carney. I would love to know the North Star for me is up there. You can't see it at the moment. Andromeda. The galaxy Andromeda is literally up there. There. I know that because I do a bit of astronomy. I used to have an observatory in the UK. I made it out of brick. And the brick base all the way around the bottom. You can actually see it on Google Earth. Brick base. And then the fiberglass dome that I built. I built it at a quarter ply and then I glassed over it. I was, I'm boat builder, mate, and worked for my old father. Anyway, then glassed over. It had a shutter in it and that, and it was motorised. It was on shopping trolley wheels. So that was. I had a Meade LX200 in there, 12-inch scope. Oh, Meade, it's an American company, isn't it? Hello there in the Netherlands. Well, can the people in the UK still have Swiss pocket knives in their pocket? Only if it's under 3 inches. And it must be a folding knife and not lockable. This is the thing about the French knife, the little, what do you call it again? Oh my goodness, little folding knife. I've got loads of them, I can't remember what it's called. Blimey. Anyway, they're actually lockable, but they lock on the bezel of the actual knife itself. Really get a hell of an edge on them. So technically they're a locking knife. They're not allowed. But yeah, I'm pretty certain you can have a pocket knife as long as it's under 3 inches and you've got a reason to have it. I might be wrong. Things might have changed. Number 3 says, hello, I have no idea what's going on. I don't think any of us do. It's all madness. But I am more a sucker for the gingers than the... Oh, my God. I'm past all that, I tell you. I can't be bothered. Oh, dear. Oh, I've been married too long. The NDP will be back. They made some mistakes that the typical NDP supporter wasn't a fan of. Oh, I see. Oh, I get you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Caroline Levitt. Moot always. Good idea. That's a good plan. Joe is a bit of a mixed breed, is Joe. He's a man of many places, that he is. Oh, I see. It's under 8 centimetres, which is, I suppose, 3 inches, just under, isn't it? Just over 3 inches, 8 centimetres. What's 3 inches? About 75 mil, isn't it? Folding pocket knives under, are allowed in the UK. Cheers for that. Steve McGowan, I thought so. Opinel, that's it, Billy. Thank you. Opinel knife. Yeah, the French Opinel knife. They have a convex grind on them, which is quite an unusual grind actually. So they have a convex grind and then a little micro bevel on the edge, and you get a hell of an edge on those things. They're brilliant. If you want to do a bit of foot carver, where you're like carving dead skin off your feet, they're ideal for that. Anyway, as you can see, the light is disappearing, so I'll be going soon. If you are Scottish, you can have a dirk. Oh, knife that fits in your sock. Now, my name, Ket, right, was under knighthood. Now, my dad said to me years ago, when he was like, son, if you want, you're allowed to have a broadsword. I don't know if it still stands, but apparently that was the case. But I don't think I'll be walking around with a broadsword somehow. Here, the maximum blade or pocket you can carry it around 6 centimetres, but you can have bigger blades for use for work or collect some. Oh, okay. Now, it's not unusual to see a Frenchman go around here with a knife on his belt. Sometimes a fixed bladed knife, like hunter's knife and stuff, and not a huge one, and also for archery and stuff like that, you'll see people with a fixed blade, your knife in a sheath. More often not, you'll see them with a guile or even this little opener, in a little leather thing on their belt. Go to the parks and stuff. They bring out a little knife and that, and they start slicing off their cheese, then bits of meat, and have a little colonial breakfast or lunch, or have a bit of jambon cru and a baguette, a bit of butter, a bit of beer. It's pretty, it's pretty cool, But the gendarmes don't do nothing about it, they don't see it as an issue because it's not a weapon; it's a tool, as far as they're concerned. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Yes. He's dead now. Didn't he die this year? I think he did, didn't he? I think he passed away. Or was it the woman that passed away? I can't remember. Paul Hogan. Yes, that's not a knife. As long as you're not talking about Hulk Hogan, what about Giddy Aunt? Oh, dear me. Some people. Some others do have them. What about very sharp sporks? You don't know what a spork is? It's a cross between a spoon and a fork. Them in prisons and stuff. Are you having a spork? What film was that in there? Oh, crikey. He managed to kill him with a spork anyway. Kill someone with a spork. I got my wooden spork ready and waiting. What, are you in jail? And we can have guns, Americans, hunting rifles, personal guns for defence, and we just do not hand them out over the counter like a flask of scotch. Well, it's like you've got plenty of guns here, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. The farmers, for instance, they've got their rifles as well as the shotguns and the blunderbusses. Oh, you need a horse for a broadsword? So get a horse. Get off your horse and drink your milk. One spray bee raid. So I've got to have a broadsword. I need a horse to have a broadsword. Okay. I've got the land for the horse. I've got plenty of grass there for me. I have an axe blade with a Danish side older than some countries. Wow, that's pretty cool. Do you know what I need to do again? I used to throw axes in the UK, in years ago, about 15, 20 years ago probably. I was throwing axes, and I was really quite good at it. And it was big axe, big old felling axes as well, and throwing them at a stump about 20 yards away. And I ain't done it for years. I fancy doing it again now you said that. It'll boomerang back. Talk about boomerangs, I've made a few boomerangs here. Pastel is still alive. She died in 2014, did she? Oh, okay, thank you. Canada is still waiting for the EU to ratify the CETA. Oh, I see. It's almost been 10 years, but it's been rushed now, isn't it? They can see some urgency now, I suppose. France made pitchforks effective. So did my ancestors. My ancestors, a guy called Robert Kett. It's the Kett's Rebellion in 1549. And he held Norwich, the city of Norwich, for 30 odd days, all right? Now, the city of Norwich was a walled city, okay? There's still remnants of it now. Well, Robert Kett held it because of taxes. Now, Robert Kett was a bit of a tyrant, to be honest. He was a butcher and a tanner, all right? So he'd collect the pee and the dog pee and stuff like that and tan leather, but also a major landowner. He was, like a super tenant, all right? And all these little tenant farmers and that had to pay him rent. Well, the Crown instigated a tax, a boundary tax on all these little tenant farmers, so they had to pay a certain amount of tax to the Crown. And he knew, well, if they got to pay these taxes now, which are quite high at the time, they ain't going to be able to pay me. So what did he do? He gets them all together. Rip down your boundaries, he goes. And anyway, they rip down all the boundaries, refuse to pay the taxes. Oh, shit hit the fan. And what ended up happening is they held Norwich City for 30-odd days. But who got him out? It was the Crown hired German mercenaries to go in there, and they basically killed shitloads of people. You know, because they had crossbows, and they just had pitchforks. They weren't as skilled as the French. Okay, so anyway, they just a lot of people got killed. Obviously, Robert Kett he fled, and then he hid. He hid inside a hollow oak tree in a place called Wyndham. And the oak tree is still there, okay? It's not like the sycamore gap tree, which got chopped down by a pair of idiots. It's this oak tree in Wyndham, and it was a hollow oak tree. It's actually full of concrete, and it's got iron bands around it to try and hold it together. They found him, all right? So they got hold of him, and to make an example of him, they hung, drawn, and quartered him, and then hung him outside Norwich Castle Museum, which was, well, actually, Norwich Castle was a prison for God knows how long, since 1900s and stuff. Anyway, so if anyone knows the Norwich Castle Museum, which used to be just a Norwich Castle, obviously a fort, and they hung Robert Kett outside. I think outside there was at Westminster, was his brother. Anyway, they made an example of him. So, yeah, that's the story. 1549, that was Kett's Rebellion. And if he didn't do that stupid bloody thing, I might have still had a little bit of money. Since I'm a direct descendant of Robert Kett. Because he owned pretty much all of a big chunk of Norfolk, Mousehold area, right, and took up to Cossey, around Norwich and that. So he was a major land owner and a lord and all that sort of stuff. Anyway. Oh dear. Never mind. Missed out there. Freeland, a festival imitated by Trump at all. Chrystia Freeland is festival and not intimidated by Trump at all. Quite a lot of people aren't actually. A variety of different governors, what have you. Obviously Democrats. And some Republicans are finally standing up. But saying that is that every single Republican voted for the bill that basically allows them to deport American citizens. You know, it's just absolutely ludicrous. No, chocolate starfish, you'll have to lick them. In my video the other day, when I was I was sort of struggling a little bit. Anyway, I did a video, and someone said maybe you shouldn't talk so much about chocolate starfishes. Maybe you do better. To do the throne speech. Okay, nice one. Cheers. That. Yeah, Starmer's he's kissing the arse of the wrong people. That's what he's doing. He's trying to win over people that are not realistic about the situation the UK is in. I think the UK is headed for the dire situation in the UK. You know, it's shitty in the United States, and it's going to be shitty in the UK as well. It's not going to get any better anytime soon. I think we're going to be looking at a pretty devastating recession, if not a depression. There just ain't enough money. Yeah, the jobs don't pay enough. People haven't got enough to look after families. Of course people are depressed. You know, there's got farmers that are committing suicide, and same in the United States, you know. It's just, I know you could argue why they voted for it. Well, I don't think they voted to be so bloody depressing that, anyway, we need these people. You need the farmers. You need them to do the job. You need them to wake up, though, and to actually understand how trade works. See, it's definitely getting dark now, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to call it night. Like, thanks for joining us tonight. And it was a random one that I know. But I did have lots of things to talk about, but we talked about lots of stuff, didn't we? To be fair. The UK is done. I'm looking at ways to get out. I think if you can do it, do it. I'm very happy to be here in France. And we've got some French friends and some English friends here, actually, are trans. And, they just leave them alone, generally, you know. I suppose, to be fair to them, actually, they do live quite isolated, to be fair to them. Got a lot of friends though. So I don't see, I don't see any problem. They haven't said they've had any issues anyway. Yeah, no. We need Kanzuk. Do we need Kanzuk? Oh, cheers, Pam. That's just a random one, just a chat, and it. I'm not looking forward to what is left of my life, says number 3. I think I have to try and make the best of it as you can. That's the same with most people. If you're financially secure and you're okay, well then you just have to ride it out. I feel sorry for people who just can't make ends meet. Because you get the monetary stress in a family, and then families break down, don't they? And then the ones that suffer, the kids. It's just a fact of life, isn't it? And I think that's pretty depressing. The sky is looking nice behind us. There it is, look. So it's getting quite dark now. I'm surprised I ain't got the mosquitoes buzzing around me. Since there's water here as well, so. Alright. We're quite fortunate. That's basically, if we're sitting on our patio, that'd be our view going down into there, or it could be our view over there, or whatever. So we're lucky. We're lucky like that. We've got no money, but we don't need a huge amount of money to be fair to live here, and we live pretty much off. We're about 70% off grid, I would say, with fuel and energy and stuff like that. But we grow a lot of own food, and our bills are quite low. And the thing about in France is your bills aren't generally, your normal running costs aren't high unless you want them to be. Like, for instance, I don't want them to be, but if you say, for instance, you want to spend, some things can be a bit pricey. But, if you don't need it, you don't buy it, do you? Food is not as you know, to be fair, food prices in the UK have gone up quite a bit. Vegetables are still cheaper in the UK. So my wife was saying when she went back last time. So, anyway. I need to make it back to the house, and I didn't leave the light on. So I'm going to say toodaloo, So toodaloo, and thanks for joining us. Have a lovely evening, all day, whatever it might be for you. Toodaloo. Laters.